Okay, so let's get started. Thank you for being here, and this is a really important part of our evening and the part of our week, because we get the opportunity to make our lives more present time as opposed to just running around in our heads. Would you agree that in today's world it's easy to get distracted? Right? So the distractions, though, the detours that we come upon in our lives don't have to be, the distractions don't have to be detours, right? We get the opportunity to do that. So what we're going to be asking you to do tonight is not just to have more information, but actually to share the principles of how life works, the laws of nature, the law of the body, the laws of healing, so you can filter everything through that. Because wouldn't you agree that data by itself, I mean, think about this. Remember how they said maybe back in the 90s that information was doubling, right, every 7 years? What do you think's happening now? I mean, just even people posting on social media, it's astounding what's happening now, correct? Now, it's so easy to get distracted, but again, we don't have to make those distractions a detour. Our goal tonight is to, again, share with you the principles that can guide you, so when you're not in our midst, you can use these principles to filter data out, so that this way you can make good decisions about your life and not end up on the bottom of the hill and waiting for the ambulance to come by. So that is our goal for you this evening. Our topic this evening is very important, because if you notice what happened 3 years ago when everything got shut down, remember that? What happened to people's emotions? Did they get better, or did everybody start to go downhill, right? Isolation is the worst thing that you could do to a human being. That's what they do for prisoners, correct? To punish them severely is to isolate them. Solitary confinement, right? So it just plays tricks on your body. Well, what has happened over the decades, because of the isolation and the challenges that we're going through, what has gone up? What kind of stress? What else? Anxiety, depression, suicides, right? It was not good. It was not good. So the reason why we're doing this topic now, to give people the opportunity to really dig deep into, yes, we have these challenges. What are we going to do about it? You know, it's really important to understand that mechanism. The difference between what we're doing compared to this, the traditional model, is we're doing it in a holistic way. We're going to discuss that in detail this evening. The question is, do you have trapped emotions in your body that are keeping you or making you sick? Right? Because emotions buried alive never die, correct? They just stay inside you. You can only sweep things under the rug so long before you start tripping over it. And you can't just keep yelling at the bump, because it's not going to go away on its own. So our practice mission statement is to provide the latest and most advanced technology in holistic health and life care. So Emily, how does that play out? Since you're tech CA, you see us interact with people all day long. How does this mission statement play out from what you see in our day-to-day experience?
That the holistic health care really does work.
So that holistic healthcare does work. And also, how about the technology we use? How is it different than your traditional model?
The muscle testing.
The muscle testing, right? It provides you with proper information to reach the body. The key word that I'd like to focus on, there's many words you can focus on, is the advanced technology. We always want to stay on the cutting edge, right? We have the lasers, we have the muscle testing, we have the NET. Because guess what? Think about this. Life's too short, right? And so am I, but that's okay. So just make sure you're paying attention. And whatever time God gives you on this earth, in this time-space reality, don't you want it to be the best quality of life? Well, you can't do that just randomly. It's not going to happen by accident. There has to be principles that you have to follow in order for that to happen. So we always try to stay on the cutting edge. You don't want to be frustrated when it comes to, just doing the same thing again and again, expecting a different result. Why do we do what we do? The catalyzing statement is to inspire people to live extraordinary lives so they can be a beacon of hope for others. Make sense? Because don't you feel that it's better to light each other's candle than to curse the darkness? And that's kind of what's happening in the world. Everybody's going blah, 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 back and forth and making everybody wrong. Why don't you do win-win instead and make, look for what's right in people? But that's not the way the world's working right now. So we want to encourage everybody to do what we're doing, is to reconnect with each other and to inspire each other instead of tearing each other down. Because people's worldviews will determine whether they live a life of extraordinary or live a life of desperation, right? Because the definition of how you believe the world works, if you live, Ayn Rand said this perfectly in Atlas Shrugged. She said, when you live your life based on the contradiction against what nature's laws, that contradiction leads directly to, what should I say? The contradiction leads to destruction directly proportional to the contradiction. Give me an example. For example, let's say you go, oh yeah, a relative of mine died of cancer, so therefore I'm going to do what I can now for the rest of my life to make sure that people don't get cancer, right? That could be your intention, but you go, oh, what do? Oh yeah, I work for Oscar Myers, we make hot dogs. And you see, you can't have a contradiction and expect your life to come out. So when things don't work out in our lives, besides obviously doing NET, take a look at, am I living a contradiction? Am I saying one thing and living another? Because the laws of the universe, they can't, you can't break the laws. You have to follow the laws. So anybody online, please type in your questions and comments as well. So the principles of healing. There are stresses in life, right? Physical, emotional, chemical stresses. From these stresses, what happens then, they can either influence your health or give you what's called lack of ease in the body or disease. The most important thing you need to understand is that your nervous system controls all the functions of the body. If you look at Gray's Anatomy, the definition is the brain and nerve system do what? Coordinate the of all tissues, organs, and systems in the body, and adaptation. How you view the world is to your nervous system. If you have no nervous system, you have no hard drive, you can't do anything, right? And to the degree that your nervous system is high-levelly functioning at the high level is how you can then experience the world. So NET, what is NET? It's called Neuroemotional Technique. It's a method used by many different types of licensed healthcare practitioners, counselors, therapists, doctors of chiropractic, medical doctors, naturopaths. As long as you have at least a master's degree in something and also above that, then you're able to then use NET as a technique in your practice. What does it do? You know what it's like? As we go through life, how many here take pictures with their phones? Right? So you take the picture with your phone. Don't you take like a bunch of them just in case? And then and then you don't go back and forget to delete some of them, and because you don't really have time to like modify it. But then what happens when we encounter life from physical, emotional, and chemical stress? The experience we have can sometimes not be ideal. You have a high emotional stress about something, and then it gets embedded in your system, and then you forget about it. But guess what? It's still in your hard drive. Look to your phone, go back 2 years ago, and like, oh, I forgot about that picture, right? But it's in your body, mind. And that's really important, because when these emotions get stuck, you keep repeating that same pattern and you relive it, and you don't even know you're doing it because it's in your hard drive and it's not in the neocortical part of your body. So how do we respond to stress? When something happens quickly, let's say there's a deer that's running around because a lion is chasing it. The high intensity of the response, the arousal response, happens very quickly for that deer to save its life. But after the danger is over, what should happen? It should go back down to baseline where everything's fine, the heart rate's fine, the respiration's fine, and also oxygen consumption. However, when we experience chronic stress in today's world, right? So the acute danger, the sympathetic system redirects the body to fight or flight. the body, the adrenals produces adrenaline or epinephrine, and you get this hormonal surge to get you to fight or flee, to protect yourself, basically, to keep yourself safe. Because if you don't have those experiences of emotional stress, then you look at the deer's like, oh, hi, Mr. Lion, and you're dead, right? So there's a reason for these emotions to happen. But what happens in chronic long-term stress, the lion is not really a lion. It's your relationship that is not going well. And it's that job that you don't quite like, right? Or it's a financial stress that you've been feeling about something. And the lion never leaves. And so your level of stress is what? Stays up. And you have what Hans Selye talks about, the general adaptation syndrome. You have a stage of resistance now, and you stay in the high level. Is that healthy? No, it's not healthy. And then what happens then is the body goes into sympathetic dominance, and then all this biochemistry happens, then it starts shifting, and the body stays in a state of imbalance. Again, some of these things can happen, unresolved past traumatic events. They become part of your subconscious. You don't even know they're there. And it starts showing up in your body in different types of symptoms. So NET will help us find where these issues are in the body, so this way we can delete them, so to speak. NET research. They took not CT scan. This is from PubMed in 2017, by the way. The study was done right in our backyard in Jefferson Hospital at that time. They took the brain. Hey, Emily, can you make a note? I need to expand this so that we can see it a little bit bigger on the next seminar. They took a functional MRI of the brain, and they wanted to see when somebody was in heightened state of stress. These are cancer survivors. They've already been to chemo, radiation, and they would still think about, hey, think about that time you got that diagnosis. And they go up between 5 to 9 in a scale of 1 to 10. That's the only people they used in the study. They didn't want anybody like a 2 or a 1. So 5 to 9. And they would look at their parahippocampal area of the brain, and they would find that it would light up. And so then they would do the NET session between 3 to 5 sessions, and then you would take another functional MRI. Not only did they not have a state of arousal, you couldn't see the part of that brain light up anymore. So way back when this started back in the 1980s with Dr. Scott Walker, we just knew that it worked, but it's so nice to just have something objective that you can validate that there's really something happening. Otherwise, people minimize it, right? If there's nothing physical that you can look at, then it's hard to measure if things are really working for the doctor and for the patient. And different parts of the body, the functions of the brain. So the reptilian brain is your lizard brain. I mean, all animals have that. It's kind of fight or flight, and for reproduction, heart rate, just kind of like, so you're alive. You're just kind of like, and that's kind of what stays when you're in a coma. It's just like you're surviving. You're not really thriving. The mammalian brain is where the emotions and memory lives, and the sexuality. It's timeless. It creates hormones. It's perfectionistic, and that's like kind of you as a mammal. And then the neocortical brain is the reasoning part. It's called the devil's lawyer. Let's make a deal, right? And this is where you rationalize everything. And that's why when you do the NET, we try to get away with the logical brain, right? Because think about this. No matter how smart you are, let's say you have like 5 doctorates. You have doctorate in engineering. I remember one of my uncles, he was such a genius that he had like degree in civil engineering and structural engineering, like all kinds of engineering things, and he would get hundreds in his test, like, you're cheating, and would take him in, so that's 100. But he had a lot of knowledge, but he never got married, he never could get in early. See what I'm saying? It's not a good balance. I mean, he was a really smart, funny guy, but it's not a good balance. So the neocortical brain is only part of the whole. It's not just the only part that's there. So the mammalian brain is kind of what we work on when we do the NET. Also, other thing they measure, they wanted to see the heart rate. So when they would have that person think, think about that time when you were getting chemo or radiation, right? And they'll go, and then you could see the heart rate would go up. Because then you can measure that there's something physiological going on in the body when you have these emotional stresses. So we can't just negate that, because if you have high levels of stress over time, it's going to impact your health, right? And so therefore, after they did the NET, the post-NET, then you could see again another measure besides a functional MRI, that you could see the heart rate calibrate and balance itself. More information, you can go to One Foundation. They have a lot of good research on there. They've done a really good job, providing information about that. So with NET, emotions are basically protein molecules. If you look at Candace Burt's work, we'll look at that in a minute here. They're chemicals that go throughout your whole body. They're not just something, you can't really measure it. They're almost like it's like a cloud. Like when you think about something, you feel something. Like you don't have that Charlie Brown cartoon thing on top of you with a smoke with letters on it. I mean, it's not visible, so it seems like it's not really there, and that's why it's easy to minimize. We also get classically conditioned. For example, if you have an emotion that gets, let's say just a little kid, and then he sees a cat, a white cat, oh, hi kitty, fine. All of a sudden they keep petting the cat and somebody outside has a blowout in their tire, boom! And all of a sudden that kid gets startled, now he sees the cat as a threat, right? It's classical conditioning like Pavlov's dog. And then after a while, so if you keep getting traumatized by either a job that you don't like or a relationship you don't like, and you keep doing it again and again, you get conditioned to looking at that person next to you, why am I so pissed off? Like, right? Or you look at a color that reminds you of them, or you smell right? If you ever go back, like in high school, like perfume, oh, I smell that, whatever it is, Dakar Noir or something. So for those people who know what that is, aging ourselves. And you go right back there, right? Because you get conditioned to your environment. And just start then associating the emotions. And if you look at Chinese acupuncture, we'll show this in a minute here, emotions actually have an address in your organs. And we'll show that in a minute here. So, for example, if you look here, let me see, I think this close up. This is the whole chart of NET, by the way. It's very complex. You have organ systems, organs, and then you have emotions attached to it. You have remedies that can help that. This is how I found this out. How many people in their past life would get adjusted again and again and it wouldn't hold? Right? I'm like, I just walked out of there. I'm already subluxated. And you could keep adjusting it again and again, but what if there's an emotional component? If you don't address the emotional component, and if you look here, it's it says recurrent subluxations. So I was adjusting people again and again and again. It's like, what is going on? So it didn't feel right to me. So I said, there's got to be another way. So these recurrent subluxation are associated with those organs, and they're associated with the emotions, and associated with nutrient deficiencies and muscles that keep going weak. So for example, like with a knee issue, I think there's something here. Let me see here. Yeah, for example, with gallbladder, liver, right? Anger, resentment, frustration, stubborn, emotionally depressed, repressed, frustration, aggression. The things that happens chronically are people with knee issues. Chronic knee issues are highly associated with the knees that never get better is gallbladder. And shoulder issues, people with chronic shoulder issues. Sometimes they even take the gallbladder out and people still have the same. It's all interrelated. So what they found out is that everything's connected in the body because the body's like a hologram. Same thing with large intestine and lung, stomach, spleen, pancreas, the endocrine system here, all the different emotions associated. It's pretty complex and very sophisticated. And repetition compulsion. Basically, when you have something, you kind of get looped into something. And you ever drive somewhere and you move, like for example, you think you're going to work and you actually didn't, and it's like, why am I driving that way? You just got conditioned, like you're not even, because you're so used to doing it again and again. Dr. Joe Dispenza is a very famous neuroscientist, and he does more like quantum mechanical view of the world. He said by the time you're age 35, your personality has been so conditioned that only 5%, listen to this, and Dr. Bruce Lipton also validates this, only 5% of everything you're doing is conscious. You're walking around unconscious all day long, and you wonder why you keep bumping into the same situations again and again. And it's really critical to understand that mechanism, because, as a matter of fact, if you try to go against what the body does, right, if you wake up in the morning and you're not conscious, you're not doing the work, you're not doing the NET, the body will do this to you. First of all, you wake up, right? Hey, Bill, aren't you supposed to be pissed off right now? Aren't you supposed to be checking your email? Aren't you supposed to be frustrated right now, checking your email that you can't get through, and then you feel so overwhelmed? You should be doing that right about now. Like, oh yeah, you're right about that, and then you do it, right? But when you come back to present time consciousness, you do the NET, you do the work, you do your meditation, you get adjusted, your nervous system's balanced, and you don't do that, the body doesn't like that. It's going to go, I'm going to give you neck pain. I'm going to give you back pain, because it's like a dog like trying to pull you. Right. Like, hey, you're supposed to be pissed off right about now. It's like, no, I'm not doing it. And it's going to fight you until you train it and say, no, stop, sit. And the way you do that is through meditation and doing the NET. That's what will happen, because 35 years, by the time age 35, everything's been conditioned. It's hard to kind of retract and reprogram the whole thing. And that's why NET exists, to kind of do what you want to do. Think about it. All the thought patterns that we have are repetitive, right? Just watch your thoughts. Like, why am I thinking that? And most of it is, we're either, as Dr. Dispenza says, we're either reliving the familiar past, regretting it, or fearing the future, because we don't want to repeat what? The familiar past. But guess when you're doing it? You're doing it now. So you're using up now time to regret the past or fear the future, and you're missing the now, which is a gift. That's why they call it what? The present. Right? It's a gift. The now is a gift. It's called the present. That's why. But whenever you're doing anything, you're doing it now. So, and if we're not conscious, we end up wasting a lot of our time. Yeah, the body holds these memories in terms of, here's what we want to do, just to get an experience of what this may feel like in terms of how the power of the mind can influence the body physiology, right? So everybody sit up straight, put your butt against the seat there, and then put your feet flat on the floor, put your palms facing up on your lap there, and just relax. Good. Now, sit up straight. Make sure you have good posture there. And close your eyes. We'll do this for a couple of minutes. It won't take long. I promise not to leave you sleeping here until next week. So, just take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Again, breathe in and breathe out. So as you stay in that relaxed state, I want you to picture yourself in the kitchen. It's a brand new kitchen. It's very tidy. Now it's nice countertops made out of, nice stone there. And there's nothing on there except a brand new cutting board. It's made out of wood. And there's a knife next to it that you only use for Thanksgiving. And it's really sharp, so be careful. You're going to reach next to there's a refrigerator. You're going to open that. There's only one thing in that refrigerator. It's big yellow organic lemon. You're going to take that organic lemon and close the door. Make sure you don't let all the cold air out. Put that lemon on the cutting board in your mind's eye. Be careful. Take then that knife and cut that lemon slowly as you see all the juices starting to run down that cutting board and on that knife. And you can start smelling the pungent odor of that lemon, the sour odor of that lemon. It's a huge one. It's like almost as big as your hand. So take half of that lemon. So you put the other knife down. And there's a salt shaker there, by the way, right next to the cutting board. Take that salt shaker and then just put tons of salt on that lemon. Just shake it right on there. Put as much as you want. And now, look at that lemon. Just look how the juices are kind of running down your hand because it's really juicy. So now, in your mind's eye, I want you to take a bite of that lemon and take the rind too. Just take a big bite. It's kind of like bitter, right? And then squeeze some of the juices right in your mouth. Oh, there's a seed in there. Bite into that seed. It's bitter too. So squeeze some of that lemon juice right in your mouth as you tilt your head back in your mind's eye. And then put that one down. There's another one there, by the way, so just take that too. And just put some more salt on it. And continue to visualize that. Look at all the juices running out. And then again, open your mouth in your mind's eye. As you squeeze that lemon, take another big bite. Just squeeze all the juices out of there with all the salt and everything going on. And you can relax and then open your eyes. If we did that long enough and you really had visualized it and then you weren't thinking of anything else, what would your body be doing?
Salivating.
Salivating, right? Julianne was like, I should have taken a video. It's like, oh yeah, because she was able to visualize right away. So wait a minute, where's the lemon? Why are you salivating? There's no lemon. What are you doing? Right? Because your body responds to your thought patterns. The problem is, are you thinking conscious thoughts, or are you thinking unconscious thoughts that are not under your conscious control? And that's how the body then begins to break down, because if you're not living in the present moment, how you interact with your world is now garbled, right? What is that? Okay. This is actually the work of Dr. Candace Pert. She has passed back in, I believe, 1999. Candace Pert, PhD, she was the co-discoverer of opiate receptors. And she, if you want to read the book, Hassan, this is right up your alley here, since you like reading this kind of stuff. It hurts your brain, it's so like technical. But it talks to you about how the body produces chemicals that are actually molecules of emotion. They're not just like something that's ethereal in your brain, and this is something that actually is real, that's happening in the body. So the stress response you experience when you imagine something, whether it happened 15 years ago, 20 years ago, if you don't resolve that with the NET, what happens is that the emotion, I mean, the picture is there, the story is there, but the emotion is still heightened. Like those people that had cancer diagnosis and they never cleared it out. Have you ever heard of PTSD with the soldiers and so on? That stuff in their brains can never be removed. But if you do the NET, they do a lot of work with veterans. You can get rid of the charge on the picture, so then when you look at it, it no longer challenges you as much. Memories will never go away, but the emotional charge to it can be diminished. And the muscle testing is how we communicate with the body using that. I don't know what's going on with those pictures there. Here's another thing too, by the way. The emotional reality is what matters, not actual reality. Think about this, right? Anybody have had young kids at one point in time? Right? Remember when they were like 2 or 3, there was a monster in the closet? They were like petrified, right? Monster in the closet, or under the bed. Now you could go, hey, what's your daughter's name when she was little?
Brennan.
Hey, Brennan, listen. I hired the FBI, the CIA, top guys. I had them look in the closet, under the bed, nothing. Look, here's the 50-page report. Nothing under the bed. Do they care? It's their emotional reality. If they believe there's a monster in there, there's a monster. Guess what? Our thought patterns are the same way. Has nothing to do with emotional reality. I mean, actual reality, it's emotional reality. If you believe it to be there, it's there. And that's really important, because then you can't really get rid of it unless you clear it out. Also, it's like you start involuntarily reacting to these things. You get triggered, right? It's like, but you can't control it anymore, because it becomes like a reflex, like a tendon reflex, or patellar tendon reflex, or a bicep tendon reflex. And then your body then experiences, it becomes a part of your body-mind, and now it's a big, again, if you look at your videos on your phone, or it's just a big mishmash of things that are not organized. What we use too with the NET, when there's an emotional stress in that organ, once you clear it out, we use homeopathic remedies to kind of calm it down, so that you don't, it's almost like putting a Band-Aid in a cut, because you had cut. So when you clean these out, emotions out, there's almost like a sensitivity because you got cut, so that homeopathic remedies will help calm these areas down. And that's what we use with Like Cures Like. Again, emotions buried alive never die. Okay. So, has anybody here not had NET before? Yeah? Wants to volunteer for like a little session here? You've had it before.
I've already done it.
Bill? All right. Okay, so Bill's going to do it. Hassan, yeah, has done
Not on
all
video,
that.
right?
What's that?
We're not on video. are we?
Yeah, no, you don't want to be on video? No, okay. No, he wants to be on video. All right, so here's the thing. We're just going to do a demonstration and ask. Now, there's different ways you can enter. Most people enter into our practice because they've been under care with different practitioners. And the one thing we always look for, and then first of all, they don't get results. They've done CT scans and MRIs, have gotten this technique and that technique, and they're still in pain, or the body's still not healthy. So the one thing we always do is find out, and these are some of the declaratives, right? So you can hold the arm up here, lock that elbow, make a fist, and hold strong, resist, like that, right? So you can then ask them, say, I'm okay being healthy, say that.
I'm okay being healthy.
Hold, and he's fine, so that's fine. I'm okay being happy.
I'm okay being happy.
Good. I'm okay being well.
I'm okay being well.
Good. I'm okay. Here's one important thing. If somebody's in chronic pain, I'm okay being pain-free.
I'm
Okay.
okay being pain-free.
Hold. What's happening, Bill?
I don't like it.
No. I'm just messing around. But anyway, so the body, even though he's doing really great, right? You're doing well with your care. I mean, pain. But watch this. Again, I'm okay being well. Say that.
I'm okay being well.
Really strong. I'm okay being pain-free.
I'm okay being pain-free.
And the body's saying, no, that's not a congruent statement. So guess what? Let's say something was better, pain would keep coming back, or it'll go somewhere else. So now we're going to go, where is that in the body-mind that the body's saying, I'm not okay being pain-free? So now, hold this arm now. Say, I'm okay being pain-free.
I'm okay being pain-free.
Right? And you can't help that at all. It's like flows out. So we're going to look for an organ system that's going to make it strong. Hold. And it's a lung right there. Because watch, if you go stomach, keep saying, I'm okay being pain-free.
I'm okay being pain-free.
Keep going.
I'm okay
Nope.
being-
Good.
You want me to
Keep going, yeah.
I'm okay being pain-free.
Yeah, so gallbladder,
Okay.
no. Stomach, no. Pancreas, spleen, no. Keep going. And there it is. Keep going, hold. There you go. And it's in the lung. The lung meridian has either emotions, so hold strong. Grief, sadness, yearning. You're yearning. So you're yearning with regard to being pain-free. So now watch what happens then. So the body's saying, I'm not okay being pain-free because I'm yearning for something in order for me to be pain-free. So how do those two words go together? Pain-free, not being pain-free, or being pain-free and yearning. What are you yearning for when it comes to the concept of being pain-free?
Being healthy, right? Not having pain.
Not having pain, try that. Yearning to not have pain.
Not
Keep
having pain.
something else. So here's another thing. What we just talked about, that's in the logical part of the brain, and the body goes, that's not it. Then you don't waste time talking about it. Because you could go down that lane like, oh, that's right, Bill. Okay, let's talk about that. It's like,
Right.
it's not that, it's not it. So then, therefore, you ask something else. So your yearning with regard to the concept of being pain, my yearning about being pain-free is what? Put those two words together. And this is your story, not anybody else's. Yearning, go for the emotion, yearning. My yearning to be pain-free is what? What would you want so that you could,
I want
if you were
to-
pain-free, then you could do what?
I could live my life. I could
Like
live my
what?
life.
Okay, try that.
I could live a regular life. I could live a healthy life.
Keep going. Yearning to be pain-free, yeah, yearning to be pain-free, because if you were pain-free, you would then be able to do what? Could be more specific. What would you like to be able to do? Let's say you have zero pain in anywhere in your body, which kind of limited you before.
I would like to sail.
Hold still. Nope. What else?
Um,
And again, that's not true, but that's
Okay.
not it, right? What else? And when you're totally out of pain, you're doing great, what would you like to be able to do?
I got such an interesting life I lead.
Yeah? No, that's fine. No. Listen. Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I would like to be able to walk
Uh-huh.
miles.
Miles.
Or
Okay,
run.
like just go forever. Like
yeah,
no matter-
keep running without pain.
Yeah, there you go. And there it is. Can you see that? So the body's saying, my yearning, if I'm not, but you can't do that now, right?
Not like that.
Right. You have to stop at a certain point because now it starts to hurt.
Right.
So your yearning then is like, okay, I'd like to just be able to keep going and walk forever,
Okay.
and not be like, incapacitated.
You know,
Yeah, go
how
ahead.
about this? How about
Yeah.
I would like to live like I was fairly athletic, and
Yeah.
I'd like to continue on that.
And just like do whatever you want.
yeah, that
Like
way,
what?
because
Oh.
swimming.
Okay, try that. Swimming, hold. Nope. Can you see? You could go down that road, talk for another 3 sessions. but that's not, but the thing, just walk. It's simple. Just be able to keep walking and be free to go wherever you want without being in pain. You got it?
Yep.
Hold, and that's it. So think about that concept, right? Yearning. I just want to be able to walk and walk and walk and not be in pain. Now you ask the body. Now that we know that's the issue, it seems like innocuous. Who cares? It's not a big deal. Not all neuroemotional complexes are dramatic, by the way. It doesn't have to be this big thing. It could be just something, right? Imagine you just, I want to be able to just walk and not worry about my knee or my hip or my back, right?
Yeah.
So the concept of an original time, we're asking the body mind now. When someone was feeling the emotion of yearning, to just be able to continue living their life, moving without pain and not being stopped by anything, and hold strong. And this is present moment. If it was something in the past, it would go when you were 5, when you were 6, when you're 7. This is just present moment. Just imagine you're yearning, like, right? Imagine that. I just be able to walk and not have to worry about any pain anywhere, my knee, anywhere. Imagine that. Yeah, there it is. Hold. And that's done. So now, put your hand there. Now we found the issue. That's the emotional point. I mean, that's, the emotional point of the lung. This is now, you're going to connect that with the emotions in the brain. Elbows together, turn away. Yeah, just relax, just like that. It's fine. Good. Now slouch. Good. Now think about that emotion. Now sometimes it can go all the way up to a 10, the intensity of that. In terms of the yearning, I just want to be able to walk. I just want to keep walking like I used to. I used to be really a big athlete. I could do whatever before things start to go down. Just imagine that yearning of being able to do that again, right? What's the intensity of that right now?
Pretty intense.
What's the number out of 10?
5.
Stay with it. So it's a 5. Stay with it. So when you engage in it, the biochemistry is moving, your body's processing that. It's bringing it to present time consciousness instead of in the past. Or just like, I'm going to ignore it because my knee hurts and that's just the way it is. What's the number? Yearning. To just be able to walk and be an athlete again and run if you needed to. What's the number? Yearning. I wish I could do that and just be like I used to be able to do, walk forever.
What's going on?
Okay, right, it's going to see how it's going because he's processing it. Body's like processing, it's going to go up, going down, and those of you that have done NET extensively, you know exactly what goes on. You process it because you're bringing it to present moment consciousness now. What's the number now? Yearning to just be able to do.
7 or 8.
See how it went up? Before, it would be under the rug, like, yeah, la, la, la. Especially us guys, we're very like, the devil's lawyer, let's make it, yeah, whatever. Hey, let's go play pool instead, Bill. Forget about it, right? So it's like, and you suppress it, and guess what? It keeps expanding. Because the more you're trying not to think of something, what are you doing? You're thinking about it. What's the number now? Yearning. I really want to be able to just keep walking and not be in pain.
8.
See what's going on? And you don't get attached to the situation. That's his process. Ideally, as a practitioner, what do you want? You want it to go down, yes? It's not up to me. It's up to his body. Now he's finally facing it, and you know him because you've been with this guy. So you know what he's been through in terms of all the different things he's been, And like you said, you mentioned, like, I thought I lost the guy, right? I didn't even know I lost him until he came, and then now he's back. Now you got to catch up because now it's running circles around you. What's the number?
Still 8. Still 8.
Yeah, so it's really processing that, right? So, I mean, God knows how many decades of. And here's another thing: when he's processing that emotion, you're just thinking about the walking and the pain. There's other things happening that the body's connected to that you don't even know is conscious. It's all connected. You know when you have like a photo thing and you filter, like look for pictures of shoes, all kinds of pictures of shoes. That's what the body's doing right now. And that's pretty powerful, even though the subject seems very innocuous. It's a big deal for him. Because what does it feel like not to be able to walk, right?
Yes.
And like, I want to go there. I want to take a hike up in the Poconos, right?
Yeah.
Up the hills, up on the rocks, right? Look up the high mountains, like, just kind of like. What's the number?
Well, it's coming up. Getting a little more
fighting?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
It's like I'm getting a little more emotional about it.
Yep, that's it. 'Cause now you're feeling it in the body instead of just like, yeah, whatever.
I feel all their emotions coming.
Yep, exactly. Can you see that? They're all connected. And this is a dude. Like, we don't do this stuff. I remember when I first did the NET, just keep going with that, Bill. Like, I'm driving from Willow Grove. It's probably like 25 years ago. Because we used to do net reset. We'd work on each other. And I'm like, what are these things coming out of my chin? I don't cry. It's like, oh, that's tears. So, but yeah, it's what's going on?
I feel like I fear of being handicapped, and
Yeah.
I've seen older people that can't
Yep.
walk. And
You see this? It's really processing a lot of this stuff. That normally he would just go, oh, my knee just hurts. I'm just going to take him Advil. I'm going to keep going. And you never process it.
I feel aging,
Yeah.
and with that comes immobility. And
Right. What's the number now of the yearning? I really like to be able to just walk without pain.
It's up there. It's like 9 or 10 at this
Okay.
point. It's like a lot more is coming through
Yeah.
with things. I guess it's connecting a lot of the.
Yeah. Yeah, see, he's a big processor. Like, everything's like connecting rapidly. Can you grab some 911 spray on the other side there? And also metal. Yeah.
I feel my heartbeat going on.
Yep. So what we're going to do,
Okay.
open your mouth. And this is going to go under your tongue. Don't spit on me. Okay, right?
Mm.
Good. Close your mouth. Hold that there. So that was the metal remedy for the lung meridian. And that's for different emotions. What's going on?
Am I swallowing?
Yeah, swallow it.
I feel like some of the thoughts have gone out.
What's the number?
5 or 6. I mean, some of what I was thinking,
Yeah.
the road I was going
Yeah.
is going back.
Open your mouth again. And close. So what we're demonstrating here, normally if this was like a long session, we would let it process. But for the sake of time, we're trying to illustrate to you that by using the homeopathic remedies, you can like allow that body to just like get the sympathetic dominance down so the body can process it faster. But ideally, you should let it process. What's the number?
3, 2 or 3. It's,
You see?
thoughts are out.
Yeah. So now you gave the body the homeopathic remedies to help those organs process faster. Then this way you don't traumatize the poor guy. So all right. So keep that pose. Turn your back towards me. Now the lung is these meridians here. Breathe in and out. And again, breathe in and out. And again, breathe in and out. And relax. What's the number now?
It's 1. I don't have. It's very low. It's
Okay.
1.
All right. Disconnect everything. Face me again.
You want me to?
Yeah, disconnect everything, yeah. Good. Nice deep breath there. Good. Hold the same arm up again. Make a fist here. Hold strong. I'm okay healing.
I'm okay healed.
I'm okay being well.
I'm okay being well.
I'm okay being pain-free.
I'm okay being pain-free.
And there it is. What do you think?
Wow. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. So the body's amazing,
I wanna
right?
cry.
What's that?
I want to home and cry.
No, you don't wait. You can do it now. We got tissues. Can you give them some tissues?
No.
No, just kidding.
No, I never experienced something like that.
Right.
Where other emotions are coming in, some basic thing.
Yeah. So you basically just got in touch with Bill, the inner Bill, not what mom should think about you, not what your wife should think about you, not what the kids should think about you, not what your old boss used to think. It's about what you think of you.
Okay.
And so when you connect with who you are, that's how you become connected and heal from the inside out.
I had a question for you.
Yeah.
So you said when you go through this process,
Yeah.
your body is pulling on you to go back to the old way.
It can.
can.
Yeah.
Okay.
But when you bring something to the present moment that used to be in the past that you've swept under the rug, it's almost like, you know what, you have to have this really difficult conversation with this person. You finally did it. It's not fun, right? It's like, "Ugh," you know, but then when it's done, like, oh,
Right.
whew, thank God, right? Glad that person's not working anymore, or glad that person's not in my life anymore, or I'm glad that problem's gone, and right? And then you feel this big sense of it. So the only way out is through, right?
Right.
And here's the thing that's cool about NET. You're only going to do it when your body feels safe. You will never traumatize yourself because, oh, let's go there. It's like, nope, not going there. You only do it because it feels safe,
Okay.
right? So we'll talk more about that in more detail. But thank you for doing the demo. I
Sure,
mean, you're very
excellent.
brave to have done that. I don't think I would have done that. Give him a big hand. Bill there. Thank you, Bill. So more information you can get to netmindbody.com. And also, if you would like to do a consultation with us, we do these sessions. We have people coming into our practice to do that. The way you can utilize NET, we have what's called a goal sheet. How many people have known people that have like business and they coach with somebody and they try this person, that person, and a therapist or whatever else, and then they can never get to where they need to go? It's a self-sabotage issue. It's called NEAT, or Neuroemotional Anti-Sabotage Technique. And so what you do, you would put down your goals about your career, your health, your finances, spirituality, recreation, whatever you want to do, and you won't go, I want to, you know, this person I want to make a spiritual retreat this year. I want to be able to pray with my family. Something that matters to you. If your body is weak on that, you're going to keep banging your head against the wall. It's going to actually, you know, make you more stressed. But if the body's neutral, okay, when you say something, by the way, when you go, I'm okay with, it doesn't mean it's a preference. It means I'm being neutral about it. If the body's saying, I'm okay being pain-free, and you're not, I don't care what you do. I mean, I'll tell you, you know, case study in a moment here, but that's just what you do. You have the sample here. Oh, this is Dr. Monty, by the way. I don't know what happened to this thing. It's like all wonky. So the things that can happen from NET that can be helped are, again, stuck emotions, anxiety, and depression. We talked about that in the opening of this seminar, especially with the kids. We take care of a lot of different kids. We take care of kids that have issues. This one girl is a gymnast. She's 10 years old, and she did the flip and landed right on her neck. So then now it's like, I'm not tumbling anymore. Forget that. Did some NET, and she was able over time to have confidence again, because then it was traumatic to her body. It's like, I'm not doing that. It's like, you know, kill myself. But the coach like, push, like, no, let's do this. And then you have them visualize, all right, do the tumbling. I'm okay tumbling. I'm okay making mistakes, right? You ask the body, I'm okay failing. I'm okay being successful. So all these things can happen. Also, allergies are a big thing. When your immune system's breaking itself down, that's usually because too many emotions are stuck in your body. I remember when one of my colleagues, who was a naturopath, she graduated from naturopathic school. She went to a seminar for 4 days. This was all about holistic oncology, how to heal the body from cancer naturally. And she said what she came out of that after 4 days, she goes, they found out 90% of cancers are emotionally based. Why not? Right? Because if your body is constantly in a state of arousal, your body's immune system will break down. Oh, yeah. Again, these are the people that keep finding another relationship, but having the same problem with a different person. How many people do you know who've been divorced 2, 3, 4, 5 times and still it's not the other person, it's their vibrational frequency. And if you don't clean that up and look into yourself, you're going to keep attracting it. Or the same thing with a job. One of the cases that we had that was really very vital and monumental in our practice, one of my colleagues has a practice close to Lancaster. They referred me to this person, tall, amazing lady, and she said, I said, why are you here? You're already getting adjusted. She goes, I have back pain. She goes, yeah, I've already had surgery 10 years ago. So I'm still in pain, and I'm getting adjusted, and it won't go away. They've done CT scans, MRIs, there's nothing wrong, they don't know what's wrong. So then, and here's the thing, my husband said, you can't work because you're in pain. You can't really do anything with the house. So we're not really can even really be intimate. So guess what? If you don't fix this soon, like, I'm out of here. Can you imagine like somebody coming to your house like, oh hey. But again, it's not about me, so we just kept muscle testing, doing NET. I don't know how long it is. I'm going to have to look up the details. Can you make a note of that? I just want to get that reality check. That was maybe 15 years ago. Make a long story short, I didn't even touch her spine. I'm like, I'm a chiropractor. I should be touching your spine. I should be adjusting you. Nothing. It was all neuroemotional. Totally cleared. And the husband came in. Like, what'd you do? My wife's back, right? So it was like, Bill's back. They didn't even do NET. But anyway, so said, hey, and he came to a seminar like this. I said, well, here's the mechanism. Can this help me with my business? It's like, yeah. It's like, what's going on? I've just been struggling, doing all these coaching and so on. I want to make my business from $1.5 million to like 3 million. Can we do that? And we worked and worked. Sure enough, he got it. Because you get out of your own way, right? And the thing that stood up for me that was really funny, and I tell this story when we do NET. So his thing was, when I was 16, this came up. It won't leave my memory. Usually with NET, I don't remember anything because I don't need to. He goes, when I was sitting there with my dad at 16, we're in a restaurant, and the dad said, I said, hey Dad, can I order surf and turf? And Dad lost it. Do you know how much surf and turf costs? I was like, all right then, holy cow. So, and he said, in his logical mind, said, that's what made me successful. Because of that I want to be able to someday buy anything I want without having to ask permission for it, no matter how expensive it is. Several sessions later, he said his dad came back from Texas or something. They talked to each other, and he goes, Dad, I'm going to talk to you about something. Do you remember when I was 16, we were in that restaurant, and I really wanted to order surf and turf, and you lost it? His dad goes, I have no idea what you're talking about. It doesn't even matter. To him, that was his emotional reality. Whether it happened or not, it doesn't matter. But that was his logical way of thinking things, and I don't know the details about what happened, but again, here's the thing. You need to remove interference, either physical, emotional, or chemical, and then you can achieve what you need to do. Problems, athletic performance. A lot of athletes, if you read the NET book, athletes sabotage themselves. We work with those people all the time. You go, I'm okay losing, I'm okay winning, right? That's important. Counseling versus NET. Counseling is really, really valuable. You should do it so that you can connect with people that are going to guide you and have a relationship with you. The difference between that is that the counseling works more on the mind level and the NET works on the body-mind level. So now when you combine both, you have a more complete outcome as opposed to just doing, the other part. Phobias. If you have any phobias, I didn't even realize this, you left to go abroad. It's like, oh, I'm so freaked out, like, I've got to go on the plane. Like, what do you mean? It's like, oh, I used to be a flight attendant and I used to understand because, planes are going to be okay. So I went to a flight attendant school just so I could feel good that I'm safe. Well, and then with the Malaysian airline, where it just disappeared or something, she goes, that's out the window. I have no idea. Now, so he goes, it's getting year by year, it's getting worse and worse. I said, when you come back from 3 weeks of it, come back and do the NET. You can't be like that, living in fear. And because guess what? It gets worse and worse, right? Because the more you get triggered by something else that you don't think is associated with it, it gets worse. It's like, do some NET when you get back, right? So again, said it's dissatisfaction with the job. Any phobia that you have, your body is perceiving something that's not real, right, as something dangerous. And so you're going to react. Oh, there's Dr. Monty when he was back in 2018. By the way, this year is the 35th anniversary of when NET was discovered. This was in 30th. I can't believe it was so long ago, man.
Pretty short.
What?
He's pretty short.
I know, right? So, and then you did NET. What the heck is that all about? Yeah, it got wacky. I don't know what happened with that. So again, our approach is, okay, that is just not okay. I don't know what happened to that's not where those things belong. Again, the brain and nervous system control everything. When you have these subluxation patterns, the body begins to inhibit. And okay. I'll just skip to that. Immune system, why would that be beneficial? Here's the way the nervous system is divided. 54% of your nervous system is mechanoreceptors. You know where you are in space, even if your eyes are closed, right? So you know where the joints are. 22% is nociceptors, or pain, heat, different sensations, burning, and so on. 24% is autonomic, which means it's the organ function. Sympathetic system, parasympathetic, and what? Immune system. So when you get adjusted, when you get rid of the neuroemotional complexes, your nervous system and immune system improves by default because that's the connection in the body. As a matter of fact, this was 2016 in the Discovery magazine, and they said, what did it say? That's what did they say? So it's a stunning discovery that overturns decades of textbook teaching. Researchers at the School of Medicine have determined that the what?
Brain.
Is directly connected to the immune system by vessels previously thought not to exist. They didn't even know that they didn't. So I really did not believe the structures in the body we're not aware of. I thought the body was mapped, said this guy who's got big degrees. How these vessels could have escaped detection when the lymphatic system has been thoroughly mapped throughout the body is surprising on its own. So everything's connected. Your nervous system, your immune system, emotions, it's all connected. Because ideally, when we're all born, when everything was pure, we had optimal health, then you got subluxated, your autonomic system begins to malfunction, your bodies and organs don't start working, but you don't know it because you can't feel them. Then you start losing your health, the lack of ease in the body or disease, and then what's the last thing to happen? When do we intervene? Up here? Way down here. What's the saying for those of you that are old enough? If it ain't broke,
Don't fix it.
see, it's conditioning. It's like that's not true. How many people do you know they're healthy, they ate well, they did everything organic, they worked out, and then they get diagnosed and they have 6 months to live, right? So it's not how you're feeling, it's about what's really happening internally inside your body mind. So, any questions before we close? Yes.
Is there an age limitation for NET? Like if you have someone who's in their 90s or versus someone who's 90
As long
years
as they're
old?
coherent consciously, it's fine.
Okay.
I've actually done, I won't say that on camera. So it's like the kids, I've actually done. I'll tell you after the seminar. Talk about a cat. Okay, so that's pretty cool. It's very short. But anyway, those of you online, please engage with us and comment so that we can share information with you. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram
question.
and YouTube. Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
But towards 3/4 away, you brought up a goal sheet.
Yes. Yeah, the goal sheet, you can fill out what you want to do. Let's say, I want to go sailing more, or I want to...
But I didn't, like, normally I would say that when you put, like, I want to do it within, when you put times on there,
You
so
could,
you would,
if you
so
wanted
that
to.
would help you accomplish
Yes,
it.
yeah. We work with pregnant women that can't get pregnant. I'm okay having a baby. Nope. I'm okay having a baby boy. Nope. I'm okay having a baby girl. Boop. I'm okay having a baby with John. Nope. You better clear that out because otherwise you'll do all the fertility stuff. You're never going to get pregnant because the body perceives like it's not healthy for me to be pregnant because of all these things, and it's not logical. You can keep pushing the body with chemicals, but if the body's physiology is out of balance because it feels like it's dangerous, we've had so many women that had gotten pregnant, from just getting chiropractic care and also doing some neuroemotional work. Right? So there's many more things we could discuss, and we'll do that in the next. drmariano.com. Please connect with us there. The next seminar is your child constantly struggling with chronic health issues, whether physical, emotional, or chemical, and how we can address that in a holistic fashion. Before we close, just to remind you, where your energy, where your focus goes, this energy flows. This is a universe that is attractive. Whatever you focus on, whether there's something you want or not, you don't want, you're going to attract it. So really be careful where your focus goes. And first of all, thank you so much to everyone for being here, everybody online. And we want to close with this poem by Mr. Henry David Thoreau. He said, I went to the woods because I wished to live deliberately. I wanted to live deep and suck out all the marrow of life, to really suck everything from life, to put to rout, get rid of everything that was not life, so when I came to die, discovered that I had not lived. Like, how many people would give everything on a physical level, financial level, to have one more day to be on this earth? And that's really, again, the present that we have, this present moment that we have, because the present is a gift. So my goal for you and my wish for you is that you connect, be in present moment, do the things that really matter, and make sure that you always feel good. And thank you again for sharing with us this evening. We're going to continue the seminar with our private people. In the meantime, we'll see you next time. I'm Dr. Dennis Mariano. Have a good night, and we'll see you next Tuesday.